Hi, ladies. All right. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes here. I want to say welcome again to another speaker circuit. We're going to wait and give people just a couple more minutes to hop on. Oh, I can look at the comments. Hello, who is it? I can't see what it is exactly. I just want to make a reminder that people make sure they like or comment tonight so that you get in with Vanna to make sure that you get a part of the drawing tonight. So at the end of the conversation, it's always fun to get some giveaways. And good, we're getting some people to hop on here. And don't be afraid to give StreamYard your okay in the group so we can see who's talking. I'm going to pull it up on my phone here real quick so I can see who is here and who's commenting. If I can't see you, there we go. Oh, hey, there's Nicole, Ellie, Marie. Hey, Dawn. And, I got an angry. Who got an angry? Someone give me a like to cover up somebody's accidental angry. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta get my volume down on this so I can see the comments. Okay, so I'm gonna bring Eric into the conversation. Get our background changed out here a little bit. And got a couple more minutes. Although we're doing pretty good. It's 11. So tell me, do you have snow like we do here?
It's incredible. That spring was the shortest lived spring we've ever seen in our lives. So we've got 2 feet and it's still dropping. So
holy cow.
Yeah.
That's how much snow you got?
Well, they said we're expecting like 30 plus centimeters. So that's 12 inch. Yeah, there you go. Centimeters here in Canada. So you have to get used to that.
Yeah, right?
It's a lot of snow. I refuse to bring the shovels out though. So it's not happening. I'll just let it all melt tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, I won't say anything then because I was up on Rainy River all weekend.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah, and drowned in the mud because we've got some property up there. And so actually our good mutual friend, Brett and Amanda, were with. And we kind of drowned in the mud for 2 days. And then we got in the boat a little bit, but it was, you know how it is. We were wrangling 3 kids and 3 adults in the boat. And it was downpour raining. I swear people were like, what are they doing putting kids in a boat today? But
you and Eric are hardcore like that. I love it though.
Yeah.
Bring the kids everywhere.
It was good. So Maisie wasn't so thrilled about it right away. But my son ended up catching a nice, we didn't get it measured, but it was about a 45-ish sturgeon and a little sturgeon. He outfished us all in the 2 hours we were in the boat. So it was way fun, but I will tell you, it was, so you'll relate to this because for me, I've always lived in central Minnesota and the lakes and the rivers around here and that kind of stuff. And the river bottom, living in river bottom is different soil and it's
soft, right?
Oh my goodness. Yes. It was we had I don't know if you saw his story at all, but yeah, we had the neighbor, thank God I met our neighbor, and he had this massive track machine and he came and he rescued us twice.
Drowning in the mud.
Yeah. So I'm learning real quickly what the northern border area is like, just a little river bottom.
You could see Canada from there though.
I know. I always said I wanted to get really far north. And then my girlfriend's like, well, how much farther can you get? I'm like, well, at this point, I don't think I can because I'd have to swim across, to over to you guys. So it's, no, it's good. I love it. I think it'll be a good pit stop for the next time I come up and fish with you.
Yes, definitely.
So we are here tonight and we got some people kind of bopping in and out. So what we are is this is part 2, basically. So we had Brett McComas on last week. He talked about kind of like a little DIY, how to get up to Winnipeg, how to cross the border, and really covered quite a bit, like kind of how to fish the lake and that kind of stuff. But with you, I was really pleased, and I want to welcome you and say thank you for taking time out of your night to talk and share your knowledge with these ladies. And a lot of people haven't been across the border to fish, or some of them have, but they haven't been to Manitoba, which I think is kind of your specialty, which I love. And we just can't wait to hear more about it. So if you would introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, we will get this going. And ladies, if you have questions specifically, I'll be watching the comments so I can let Eric know. So the floor is yours, and I am just so happy to have you on.
Awesome. Thanks, Chanda. Appreciate you guys having me. Wham, the walleye. Is it walleye? No, it's women's anglers. No, women
anglers of Minnesota.
We've got a WAM up here in Manitoba. It's the Walleye Anglers Association of Manitoba. So I was telling people I'm speaking to WAM tonight, and they go, "Oh, really? There's a WAM meeting?" And then, no, this is the Women Anglers of Minnesota. It's a different WAM, a better WAM actually. So,
yes. Well, we've gone through a huge growth period. So, like I said, we're edging on 1,000 members right now, and that's so awesome. So they're hungry for knowledge. So go for it.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for having me again. I'm gonna talk about as in depth or as not in depth as you guys want about traveling to Manitoba, Northwest Ontario, anywhere in Canada for that matter, wherever you're from. China told me that there's members right across to Connecticut, even Michigan and Wisconsin and whatnot. I'll talk about that. She said it was intimidating for a lot of people if you haven't done it. It isn't really. It's very, very, very simple. It's not hard to do once you get across that border, of course. I'll talk a little bit of where to go, why to go, and then some hows. So nothing really complicated to it. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first, like why me? Why am I telling you? Whatever. I'm Eric Labaupa again, born and raised in Winnipeg, lifelong. I've been fishing since before I could walk. As long as I can remember, I've been fishing. I turned that passion into a hobby, and I turned that hobby into a profession now. So I fishing 24/7. In a past life, I was the digital marketing, digital content person for Travel Manitoba, hence the marketing the province and stuff. Did that for 3 years. Then after that, now in my current occupation, I am the territory sales manager for Eskimo and Ion up here, Ontario and the Prairie provinces, as well as Markham Technologies, same thing. And then Acme Tackle across Canada, and Mustang Survival, if you're familiar with life jackets and PFDs and our rain gear and stuff like that. I'm the Prairie Provinces rep for that as well. So it's fishing 24/7. I'm affiliated, have different sponsors or different things that companies that I work with. Pro staff for 4 years with Cabela's Bass Pro Shops, as well as Rapala, Humminbird, and Coda, Alumcraft Boats, as well as is my boat affiliation. I'm a member of the local Manitoba Bass Angler Association, that WAM, the other one, the Walleye Angler Association, like I mentioned before, a member there. I'm also president of the Filipino Angler Association in Manitoba. Of course, I'm a Filipino, in case you didn't notice. I started that association as well, and that's open to everyone. I'll speak just a tiny bit more about that after. But my main passion is tournament fishing, tournament angling. If I could quit everything and fish for a living, like I'm not doing it already, but I'd love to just do tournaments instead. I do that all over the place. It's taken me I've been to Door County in Wisconsin, fished the Sturgeon Bay Open. I've been down all across Minnesota, Saskatchewan, and on Ontario as well, doing the tournament fishing. So my family is all into it. I'm married with a beautiful wife with 3 lovely children there. I've got a 3-year-old as my youngest, Nash. And then I got my daughters, Alyssa and Kayla. They were 14 and 13 now. They love fishing as well. Like they're right into it. I'm speaking, of course, to ladies this evening, and I'm nothing but proud of my wife and my daughters, especially, who are just love it. Like I would put them up against a lot of my friends and any kind of anglers in tournaments and stuff like that. They can hold their own, of course. There, you can see in the pictures here. Of course, I had to put that in there, my little trophy there. I was the Central Walleye Trail Angler of the Year at one point, runner-up a couple of times. Like I said, I love doing tournaments. My daughter Kayla was a Youth Angler of the Year at one point there too. So we won a bunch of tournaments together. You'll see there we do seminars at the local shows, different things like that. And we have the odd video out, and all our adventures are on social media and stuff. So there's my little guy. I couldn't help it, but I had to show my little guy Nash there in the boat in his life jacket. He's always out with me. So And that's his personal best.
He is
Sorry,
he is the cutest. And well, your whole family, your wife is so gorgeous, but you're watching with the little videos that you put on of him. I mean, I wish I could relive that age.
Oh, I know. Like right now, sucker fishing is thing. Ditches are sort of dry. Maybe not after this storm, but he's looking for suckers there. I was going to say that's his personal best walleye there, 23 inches, which really a lot of you ladies can come up here and catch those too. So if anyone has any questions right through this whole thing, just by all means, fire away. I'm just making this up as I go. I can talk for 45 minutes and just blab about anything. But yeah, if you have any questions or whatever, if I'm off topic or whatever, you're something that you want to know more about, let me know and I'll try and answer it. But that's a little bit about me. Like I said, I have a lot of good friends in the States. I met Chand and Eric up at Wekusko on one of our trips there, and they're fantastic people. So yeah, hopefully the borders open again at some point and everyone can make their way up here. But it's nice, like trying to set the plan ahead. It's nice to be able to be ready for when it comes, and it could happen. Like it could happen this winter, this summer, even who knows when. Kind of think that next winter. I also run the Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show. That's we're into our fourth. Hopefully this year we can have our fourth one. I know I've been to the St. Paul show, the Fargo one. A good friend Tony runs that one. The Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show, same thing. We have all the stores in there and all the brands and stuff like that. We have seminars and you name it. So that's every November up here in Winnipeg. Hopefully maybe you guys come up and visit that one as well. Come up for some early ice. And you'll see on the ticker down there, the Cast and Egg podcast. I'm a host of that every Monday at 8:15. We're on Facebook Live. Same kind of stuff. We shoot the S for an hour, talking about all kinds of things across the Midwest and Central Canada fishing. I guide as well part-time. Of course, these are some ladies that I showed that I guide catfish on the Red River. You can always just come up and hit me up, and you don't have to bring nothing with you. Nothing but your beautiful selves and have a license, and there you go. We'll go out there and catch some catfish. So yeah, that's what I do. That's my specialty. That's my home waters. Eric on the Red River there. So yeah, I'll talk a little about the species: channel catfish, lake trout, and walleye. Of course, is everyone's heard of Lake Winnipeg greenback walleye. So
Eric, talk a little bit more about your podcast, because it's really fun to watch, very informative, and you guys are like in the know of exactly what's going on. And where can we find you?
There's 3 or 4 of us that host, and we have guests, all kinds of different guests come on and stuff like that. Every Monday at 8:15, it's on Facebook Live. We're on live, so that gets us in trouble sometimes every Monday, but we are live. It's not really scripted per se. We just talk for an hour, and it goes by so fast. We're talking about everything, though. You name it, from whatever, regulations, big fish, tips, how to do it, something that happened, how the Bassmaster Classic went down, stuff like that. It's all kinds of things, and we talk about all kinds. We've got people in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota who watch it as well. So give it a shot. Check it out on Mondays at 8:15. Or you can watch it after. It's just on there. It's all archived automatically, so you can watch different episodes and stuff. Definitely not boring. I'll tell you that. If you watch the show, we just talk about all kinds of different things. I mentioned earlier that I was president of the Filipino Anglers Association of Manitoba. So what's that is our Filipino contingent out here. The Filipino Canadian community is huge. No real place like we felt like to belong, kind of thing. Like I talk about all the stuff that I do. I had to break down a lot of doors and go to places, meetings and whatnot, just on my own kind of thing. And it's hard to sort of break down the barriers. I don't know if some ladies can relate to that, where it's very, you speak of intimidating. It's intimidating to go up to that. I spoke of that our WAM up here, and just going to meetings, not knowing anybody, but I want to go learn. I want to hang out with like-minded, passionate anglers as well, and it was very intimidating and in many ways wasn't welcome. Once I got sort of welcomed in, because I do all kinds of stuff in the fishing community, other anglers weren't having that same kind of success or whatever kind of thing too. So I just started our own. And it's all inclusive. It's all kinds of people. It doesn't matter what your background is. You don't have to be Filipino. We're more transitioning now to Family Angler Association of Manitoba, because it's all kid friendly. We've all got our kids at different meetings. We meet every second month. Although we can't meet right now, everything's via Facebook and virtual Zoom, StreamYard and stuff like that. But these are some ladies. Like these are ladies. 4 out of these 6 ladies here had never ice fished in their lives before until this year. So I mean, and look at they outfished all the guys in the association this year. It seems like every weekend they were dropping lines down, and the ladies were catching big fish. That's my wife there in the top left. She had never caught a master angler walleye. We call that here. That's a trophy fish. It's 28 inches. or 71 centimeters, as we say here. That's a trophy. She had never caught one in her life until this year, and now she's at 3. So it was a fantastic winter for her. Yeah. 28, I think 29. She's here somewhere. 29.25 is your personal best? 29.25. There you go. So anyone can come up here and catch any of these fish. You could, with every drop of the line, and I'll touch on it in a sec here, where it's not hard. Like, I mean, as much as we like to say, we broke down the water and we fished a certain flat and a certain time of day when we use the right lure. It's not as difficult as that. So it's just dropping a line down there and bam, walleye hits it and you pull it out, kind of thing. So it can be just as easy as that. But yeah, these ladies there, and there's a whole pile more. Our association is growing as well, and just like you guys, just spreading the word about fishing and being passionate about it, and like-minded people.
So what we need to do when the borders open is we need to connect with your ladies.
Oh yeah,
and our ladies, and do a meetup.
That would be fantastic. They'd be all over. Oh, Divine's nodding her head here. That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That'd be fun. I would love to help spearhead that. And how great to bring 2 different areas of people together, and women, and like totally blow it out of the water and have a great. We're planning it.
Fantastic. Oh yeah. Well, what am I on? You're like channel catfish. That's my wife on the bottom left there. That's our good friend, Jennifer. Channel catfish. It's as like we took Amanda and Brett, I think a couple of times, a few years ago when they were up here. We did a little side trip for catfishing. I was like 2 hours on the water, and there's a video of it for it too or whatever. So channel catfish generally is on the Red River. So that's that runs right through from Grand Forks right up through Winnipeg. Red River North, so it's north of Winnipeg, Lockport and Selkirk. And then it empties out into Lake Winnipeg. I have a map here I can show you here too, kind of thing, on where that is. Yeah, we can show that. Let's see.
Oh, you good?
Let's get our fancy gadgets here. There it is here. So that's us right there. There's our lovely province of Manitoba, Northwest Ontario, Minnesota, North Dakota, of course. We zoom in. There's the beautiful city of Winnipeg from above. We're talking Lockport. Lockport is right here. Lockport, Selkirk, which many people have heard of. This is the Red River that flows through, and it empties out into all this marsh, and that is Lake Winnipeg, the famous Lake Winnipeg that everyone's heard about. This is the South Basin. It's actually a really large lake. This is the 15th largest freshwater lake in the world, and that's the North Basin. And that's where all those walleyes come from, and they come down here to spawn, and they head back up again. So that's that big walleye migration. But a lot of them do stay over the winter, and that's where we catch them all down. Pretty much down here, we call it the toenail. So that's pretty much where about 80% of the fishing is done there. But I was talking about catfish, and there's the Red River that runs through, and there's catfish all through it. But there's a dam right here. There's locks, and people can fish for catfish, and that's where I guide. So you can come up for a trip if you just want. Even if you just had a weekend, you had a day, even if you're up for business, you name it, a little shopping, want to get away, you can do 4-hour catfishing guided trips with there's about 7 operators out here that operate. There's all kinds of simple Google search, or you can just ring me up, kind of thing. We'll take you out. A 4-hour trip is plenty lots. A lot of people tap out after 3 or 4 of these catfish. It's the closest we have to saltwater fishing, where you got a big tuna or whatever on the line. These things, especially when there's current going May, June, they'll tie your arms out. And people do tap out. Chandler, like, I don't know if you had a chance to catfish yet, but I don't know if you tap out, but people do tap out. Like UFC wrestlers.
I had sturgeon on for about, I think I had 40 minutes on my sturgeon.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, it won't be 40 minutes, but the same kind of thing. Like your arm is beat, and after 1 or 2 of those fish, like, you're sort of done. But it's fun. After people recover, they want to catch another one. So I would really suggest that's a way to, if you want to experience Canada, like, it's not always about going to the far, far north or flying into places. You could drive. You're driving. You're never leaving pavement, coming up over the border through Winnipeg over there, jump into a guide's boat. They take you out, have the time of your lives. And and then
Winnipeg itself is a huge city. So there's everything you could possibly want. I mean, there's like the downtown, like the Forks, and so yeah, you can have, I mean, it's not like you said, we have to go and drive 16 hours to nowhere land.
No, not at all. And you go to Winnipeg, especially with your dollar. I think your dollar, like $1 is like 85 Canadian dollars or something like that. So you can get some shopping done while you're up here too.
All
Yeah,
right.
which a lot of people do actually. Yeah. So that's
What
that.
do
We've got all kinds. Yeah.
what is like when we're looking at a fish like this? How big is this?
So those fish there are, I believe those are master anglers. So a 34 inch is a trophy catfish, although a 30, 31, 32-inch catfish is a big channel catfish anywhere you go. But here, they're just so big that 34 inches is our threshold. My personal best is 38 and a half. I wonder what the poundage is on that. You're talking like 25, 30 pound catfish kind of thing. But I've had guests catching 39s in the boat. There are 40s to speak of out there, but a 34-inch catfish like the ones in the photos here, that's giants. And it's not hard. You come out on your own. You don't need to be guided as well. If you bring your own rig, or people do it from shore, you can catch it from shore here like just as easily. It's a simple catfish rig. What's that? There's a leader to it. You have your main line. There's a swivel, a big beefy swivel because we're talking big fish here, and then maybe 18 to 2 feet of leader. We're talking like fluorocarbon or mono. And then just a simple circle hook. Circle hook's the best because they don't tend to swallow it. It just hooks in the mouth and they sort of self hook. And then the bait is just at the beginning of the year, it's a cut bait sucker usually, and then it transitions over to shrimp and cut goldeye, and we catch those ourselves. You go catch your own bait, cut it up to pieces, and then in the fall it transitions to frogs. We use frogs actually. My kids, don't tell my kids that, but they don't like me using frogs. But frogs are killer catfish bait, I tell you. Anything from like pieces of chicken, gizzards, and beef hearts and stuff like that. People use all kinds of stuff. You're just lumping meat onto a hook. You throw it out there, and then especially with the circle hook, a lot of it is just you'll see a tick, 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 and next thing you know, it wants to pull your rod into the water, and that's when I tell people to grab the rod. When it wants to rip the rod into the water or rip it out of your hands, that's when you hang on for dear life, and that sort of sets it, and then the fight's on, kind of thing. And oh man, I would suggest that. Like everyone has these dreams of Canada, and you're going on to this wilderness and flying in, and you're gonna pet a polar bear and stuff like that. But channel catfish is a way to experience some insane fishing that really it's not comparable anywhere else. We don't have flatheads and blues here, but as far as channel catfish go, world class.
We'll have to do that because last week Brett mentioned the story of fishing with you, and I had the picture. I should have grabbed it again of those two both holding their huge catfish. Yeah. He said it was probably one of the most fun, kind of like you said, not really on your bucket list, but one of the most fun fishing trips. And they're only out a couple hours, and he's like, that's all we needed.
It's very underrated. It's an underrated fishery, and people coming from far and wide to do it. I've guided people from China and Germany and all over the United States to come here just to catfish. So. And you guys are right there. You're driving distance. So Come on up. If you don't take anything away from this thing tonight, come up and catfish with Eric. I swear to God, you'll love it. You won't regret it.
On my plan. Awesome.
Lake Winnipeg, of course, that is and you've heard any fishing show, boat show you go to, any magazine you pick up nowadays, Lake Winnipeg. This fishery is relatively new. It's exploded in the last, we'd say maybe 15 years now. Before 15 years, like we're talking early 2000s, it was just locals, the odd hard-sided shack out there. Commercial fishing, of course, has been there for hundreds of years now. But as far as recreationally fishing, it was just the odd person doing it and just walking out from shore. And nowadays it's like it's a mall parking lot out there. You got cars everywhere and trucks. I say cars because Honda Civics can make it out there as well. So you don't need necessarily a fancy tracked vehicle, sleds or quads. A lot of the times you can, and they plow accesses now. So at the very least, you can get to the access. And there's hard packed trails if you stick to community spots. You can come up in any old SUV and get out there and fish, kind of thing. So it's a lot of people talk about it, like, and you want to come out and you look back there and make it sound like there's so many people out there, and there really are. But look behind you; those were busy Saturdays. All three of these fish that Divine only catches big fish on Saturdays, by the way. But yeah, these were on Saturdays, and you look behind there, it seems like there's no man's land. I spoke of polar bears. You could see a polar bear any second. There are no polar bears here, of course. Maybe some people believe right. There's no polar bears for like another 13. They got the top north of the province. There's no polar bears here, but it's not. It's like we say it's busy, but look at that. You can spread out there, and there's no one within. I say kilometers. We'll talk miles. Half a mile of you, kind of thing. there'd be no one around. So you can't get out there. And if you just want to get out there with your group, whoever you're with, your partner, your family kind of thing, or even a lot of people go out there by themselves even, you can get out and get away, or you can be as social as you want. So, and then these are the kind of fish, those are her 3 master anglers that she caught this winter. She never really ice fished before this winter. And then I finally got her to buy a nice ice suit. If that's anything I can recommend, is good boots and good ice fishing suit. If you're from a little bit further south and you don't experience crazy winters, we've got like crazier than Minnesota winters. I'll tell you, we've got crazy winters. If you don't have good boots or good clothing, base layers and whatnot, it's not going to be very enjoyable for you. So yeah, now that she has the good clothes, she loves the ice fishing, and look at that. And she's doing tournaments on her own now and stuff like that. So that's it. I'm at home, man in the house now, and she's out there fishing on weekends, which is fantastic. But Lake Winnipeg, that's the map here. So I mentioned it again there. There it is. That's the South Basin. And all this greenback fishing is done from up here to Gull Harbor all the way down over here, Winnipeg Beach down here. This is the mouth of the Red. So
where would you recommend? I mean, if people were going to kind of target an area to like want to stay, that would be, because I know the ice can be inconsistent and like if it piles up with the wind, where would be a good like place for people to like try to like start looking for VRBOs or places to stay?
Yeah, anything up this. We divide it up by either the west side or the east side is how it's divided by, and people have different reports and people have their preferences. All along these east and west shores, there's places to stay. People rent cabins here and whatnot, like you said, Airbnbs, and there's a bunch of hotels. Gimli has hotels, Winnipeg Beach, and down in Selkirk here. A lot of people stay in the town of Selkirk, and they make the drive from Selkirk to the first access point, which is at Matlock, is about 15 to 20 minutes. If you drive like me, 13 minutes from here to there kind of thing. So it's not that far. So a lot of people stay there. Some people have heard of South Beach Casino as well. That is located here at Scantlebury, in between there somewhere. So that's very close to Balsam Bay where people fish as well. Maybe some people have heard of that. Those are your main places to access. When I say stick to the community spots, that's where you're going to have a plowed access. I know down south that you guys have a lot, like every lake has got accesses that are nice and clean, and people have parking spots for their hard sides and stuff. Out here, it's not as much. It's more up until this last couple of years, it's very much off-roading for all intents and purposes. But now they're getting with the times, and they are plowing accesses now. So towns, every town along here, Gimli, Grand Marais, Balsam Bay, Matlock, Winnipeg Beach, they've all got plowed accesses where, like I said, Honda Civics are driving out there. So those are the places that I would go to. And then you can venture off literally as far as you want or as close as you want and fish anywhere. And don't let anyone fool you. Your guess is as good as anybody's on where the fish are. You could fish literally 100 yards from shore here and catch them just as good as someone out in the middle and stuff like that. It's a very almost featureless basin. The difference is if it's 17 feet here, it'll be 17 feet like right across kind of thing. And then that's 18 foot. And there are maps. Different companies, Humminbird, for example, Angler's Edge local up here has maps. You can see these online too. And it just gets deeper and just picking a depth, 7 feet. If you want to fish 7 feet, the mouth here is a very popular spot right here. All along the south here, you can pick all kinds of places. So going out there to fish, I mean, getting here is most of the battle is just getting here and getting onto the ice. And after that, it's just your guess is good as anyone else's, and get out there and drop a line, like I said. And when the going's good, yeah, and everyone's catching fish in all manner of sizes too. So yeah, come on up. That's like a reason why to come up to Canada is another one. If it's not catfish, it's big walleye. So
what was your wife's secret lure she was using?
One of them was an Acme. I'm not because I sell Acme tackle, but it was Acme Hyper Rip. It was a pretty cool brand new lure for this year. So it's a little crankbait. So people use that. And then on the other ones, it was just a jig and minnow. Jig and minnow? Just simple jig and minnow. So sometimes like you're thinking you got to get all fancy with different lures, and people are coming up, and people here locally have 5 different tackle boxes. But to be honest, a simple 1/4 ounce jig, 3/8, whatever your preference, 1/8 even. And we say minnow here. You can use live. Leeches and worms don't particularly work in the wintertime up here. But live minnows or salted minnows, which is a Manitoba special there. That's their shiners that are preserved. Not really preserved, but they're salted or they're fresh. They just come in little tubs that you can buy at any old gas station here or tackle shop has them. You put those on a hook, drop it down, and that's just as good as fancy crankbaits and stuff like that. Spoons are popular. But really, like the tackle box you need, to fish Lake Winnipeg in the wintertime is just one of those a regular plastic tray. We'll have everything you need. You don't snag per se, not too many pike bite offs and stuff like that. So there's people been out here for 5-day trips and they've had the same lure tied the whole 5 days kind of thing. And you're just changing lines if you feel like it, to try different lure, different color. The water here is pretty stained. It's muddy kind of thing per se. So it's not the clearest water. So brighter colors, chartreuse, the pinks, stuff like that, bright blues, glow in the darks even work. But people catch them on black jigs as well, and white jigs and lead jigs, you name it. So what I'm basically saying is not as hard as people make it sound. It's just come and drop a line, drop a line and get a rod in your hand, and you can catch them.
Awesome. Cool. So let's go to
we have other species. We've got smallmouth bass, pike, lake trout, of course. If you want to be a little more adventurous and experience more of a rustic Canada, you're getting into our shield country. Those are smallmouth bass. These were caught in the eastern part of the province, and this is in Ontario. Divine caught it over here. If you just show the map one more time again, Chanda, I could show the thing there. So we've got Winnipeg again, just to orient. The eastern side, when you see all these lakes, this is more like now you're talking like maybe northern Minnesota kind of country. If you're familiar with shield, pine trees and stuff like that. So we got all this. A lot of people in the States talk about Lake of the Woods, and they're talking big wide open, which is very similar to Lake Winnipeg. Actually, our version of Lake of the Woods is all these endless islands and water up here, and this is more like you're talking your old flying up into or driving up into Ontario kind of country. You can easily do that driving up through I Falls. I Falls is the access point for a lot of people coming up from Minnesota. People come this way as well too, from Duluth going to Thunder Bay and stuff. But all the country is pretty much the same. Smallmouth bass, lake trout, northern pike. You give that a shot too. All these highways, almost every main kind of lake has lodges out on it, or at least boat launches if you're going to do it yourself, stay at places. The fishing is not that's one thing about Canada, is that the fishing is as easy as it gets. It really is. It's just, there's nothing much to it. Just get to some nice water. If something looks cool and like you're familiar with your own kind of fishing, if there's no reason why that bay there shouldn't have fish. More often than not, you'll be right. There'll be something in there. We can't guarantee sizes if you're going to catch giants or not, but you're definitely going to catch fish. I mean, that's not the hard part. I would, if you look up the town of Kenora, that's a great place there. Very modern town. First thing that pops up is the McDonald's already, Walmart, of course, all kinds of places to stay there. And that's a base for a lot of people to go travel out here. And you don't have to travel all down into this wilderness either. Really right in town. People are fishing like right in town here and stuff, like, and you're catching fish like crazy there. And it's beautiful country, lots of places to explore. Not just fishing, like I said, you can go hiking and all kinds of stuff, checking things out. So that's different stuff, right?
Kenora has one of my favorite historical museums. If anyone's ever been to that one, it really tells so much history of Lake of the Woods, and everything from wartime to the barons, the lumber barons, to really just the whole history of Lake of the Woods. If anyone ever gets a chance and is in Kenora, Lake of the Woods Brewing is a good stop.
That's a good stop. That's a must do, actually. You have to hang out there.
The historical society is amazing, and the history of the fishing in the area, and the bass. I don't like the fish that they have on the walls. They're pretty impressive. Talking about big bass, that's for sure. And then, kick this other picture on here.
And there's one more. Like, I'm just getting through the whys here and why to come. Just trying to inspire people to come up. If you haven't done it yet, it's on your bucket list. Everyone I talk to in the States who fishes, Canada's always on the bucket list. Or some people been coming up for 30, 35 years. But if you're on the fence about it and you're thinking about it, just give it a shot and go. I mean, just doesn't matter what you go for, really. In these pictures here, as my friend Robin, we do have the lake trout. And we have lake trout in Northwest Ontario as well, but not like in northern Manitoba. We've got giant pike, if that's your thing, and muskie. We've got all that. And then we have burbot as well. I know the burbot is a lot of people don't like burbot. A lot of people are loving burbot. Now, that's my daughter. She snuck away on one of my trips there. We had a trip to one of the lodges, and she stowed away. Like, she said she was not staying by, and she stowed away. She joined us on that trip there for 4 days, so she's a trooper. But those lake trout, if I show you the map, you're going further now. This is little more adventurous. Yeah. So again, if we're centering from Winnipeg again, you're going to drive up this Highway 6, and you're going to drive up, and you're driving by all this water, and you're driving by over all these fish, but you're getting all the way up here. We were just here a few weeks ago, all the way up here. So that's where we are. That's 7 hours. 7 hours drive from Winnipeg to Cranberry Portage, Flin Flon, Labaupa. So this triangle right here, this area is all these lakes have giant lake trout in them. And this particular one right here, this lake Athapapaskow, is arguably the best lake trout lake in northern Canada, all of Canada, really. The biggest ones are coming out of there. So we're talking, when we say big, it's a big lake trout is 40 inches. A master angler is 34. A big lake trout is 40. But we get 45s, 48s coming out of there. And the odd, maybe someone's going to catch a 50 kind of thing. So that's something to try. It may look like it's way, way out there in the boonies, but it's just as modern. Flin Flon has a Walmart as well and stuff like that. So civilization is never too far away. If you need things or whatever, you need help. Like this, there's lodges here. Like there's towns in here where the lodges are right there. So there's cell service all throughout here. It's not like you're ever leaving cell service. There's Wi-Fi. There are subsections on this highway going up there where it gets sketchy, but once you get to the towns, you're good to go again. So sometimes you could, like, once people have experienced like the Lake Winnipeg thing, and they do like, the Canadian Shield thing, what's next? Like, what's next on that? Listen, that's the next step, or maybe your first step. Coming up for doing northern Manitoba, northern anywhere, northern Saskatchewan. You'll see on the map here, this is all our farm country, the light brown. It looks like North Dakota, so that looks like our North Dakota. And then once you get to the green there, that's all boreal forest. So that's all ripe for the picking for catching fish anywhere you go, northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, all those places there. Give lake trout a try. You type in lake trout Manitoba, whole pile of these pictures will show up, different lodges. I'll show it. And like, again, it's easy. I shouldn't say easy, but it is easy. You're dropping it down. You get to the right depth. You're fishing like 80, 50 feet of water in the wintertime. Summertime, you're fishing 60 feet plus, 90 feet even. You're dropping basically white tube jigs down there. And sometimes with some sucker belly or whitefish belly, just some meat to give it some scent. You drop it down and start jigging away. And nowadays with all these fancy gadgets, fish finders and sonar, if you see the fish down there, you drop it down, and more often than not, they'll hit. So it's just a matter of finding them on your electronics, dropping a bait down. And there you go. So lake trout. After catfish, lake trout. Never mind those walleye. I'll just skip those walleye. Anyone can catch a 30-inch walleye. My wife caught a 29-inch walleye, so anyone can do it.
What about a tiger trout? How about the tiger? Was it called the trout triangle?
Tiger trout. Yeah, if you want to get really fancy, we've got all kinds of stock ponds all across the province where giant rainbow trout, giant brook trout, brown trout, and of course tiger trout, which is really cool. Actually, that's something really different. I know Brett was all over, and he did catch one. We were on a mission to try and catch one of these things. We were in the middle of a blizzard, and we weren't leaving that pond until he got one, and he did. So yeah, we got those all over the place too. So those are different things. Like you could fish up here for 7 days, for example, and fish a different species every day, a different lake, 3 different lakes in one day if you wanted to. It's endless. Minnesota's the land of 10,000 lakes. We're the land of 100,000 lakes. More than half of them not even named. You can come up here and catch a fish one, and we'll name it after you if you want. And I'm not even kidding about that. You could put it to get a lake named after you if you wanted. But it's that's the why to get up here. I'm gonna run out of time now. I didn't even speak about how. I can run over that very quickly.
Yeah,
I'll just take you over the border. That's how to do it. But we can talk about that.
You know what? We're doing really good on time, just because Stephanie can't get on to spin the wheel. So we have about 20 minutes. So if you want to talk about maybe you know whatever you want to talk about, we got lots of time.
If I can touch on quickly just some of the hows and some of the important stuff if coming up here. Of course, you need a passport. Passport's a huge thing. And some people don't have passports and stuff. You have to have a passport to cross the border. I know we do to go the other way. So it used to just be our driver's license about 10 years ago, but now it's a passport with all the stuff going on. So passport. When you get up here, when you cross the border, like I said, it's you need a fishing license. So for non-residents, our angling guide is very simple. It's only about 15 pages long and stuff like that. You got your limits on there. Certain bodies of water have some special regulations and stuff, but a quick search or an ask on a forum or something like that will tell you You can ask me as well. But your non-resident license is $37.85 for a conservation license, and a $62.35 Canadian dollars we're talking here, so probably $5 for you guys is for a regular license. And the difference is just your limit. Mostly with walleye and pike, you have a different limits to take home or possession limits for the day kind of thing. But anyone aged under 16, so that's 15 and under, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not or whatever, you don't need a license. For anyone visiting with you that was going to come up, that's underage, a youth angler just has to fish with someone who has a license, and they're good to go kind of thing. But your limit is tied into the person who has a license. But aside from that, they don't need one. If they want their own limit, then they have to get a license kind of thing. But that's a bonus right there too.
And we can buy online now, right?
You can actually. We just left the Stone Age last year, and you can buy online. Although there are still some kinks going with that process, but you can. There's no one-day licenses or nothing like that. When you buy your license here, it's for the year. Just another excuse to come up again multiple times throughout the year. But yeah, you can buy it online. Definitely. So
yep, that was one of my questions, because I know like when and I don't know if anyone's watching tonight that didn't watch last week, because we talked about like Ontario has an Ontario card. So you have to buy a sports card, and it's like $3, I think, for the card. But they have options for you to buy. I think they have like a 3 and a 7-day license, I believe, and then they have the year.
They do. They're a little more advanced than us. They got different options.
And then and I did mention if people go, like especially to Ontario year after year, my husband and I did that. It actually saved us some money. We bought a 3-year license to go with our 3-year hard card. Which was really cool, because then our license was actually a credit card versus paper with your sports card. So that was just, a nice thing if you're going to Ontario over and over. And we're, like I said, we're hoping Manitoba hops on board with that. But for Ontario, that was kind of I found with us, it just was kind of a nice thing, as every year you had to or every 3 years you have to renew your Ontario card. You might as well buy your fishing license to go with it. Saved it. So anyway,
but you do though, and that's true though. It's just like every state has their own regulations and licenses. Same thing up here. So Manitoba has their own. Ontario would have their own, and if you go to Saskatchewan as well, they have their own license and own regulations as well. So everything is sort of similar. One thing about Manitoba is an important thing to know is that we're one of the only jurisdictions that have a barbless hook rule blanketed right across the province there. So barbless hook. You'll buy a lot of your hooks from the store out of the packages, and you have the barb there. Up here, you got to make sure to pinch it. They do check for that. There's fines with it and stuff like that. So in Ontario and in Saskatchewan, most places you don't have to. In Manitoba, you do. So pinch the barb. Doesn't really affect the fishing so much. It makes it easier for the fish to release. It's more for a conservation aspect is why. Get a nice hook set on there and keep the line tension on, and shouldn't have any problem. Not me anyway. I lose fish. Doesn't matter what I try to do. I lose fish. But yeah. And then some different tactics, and like what you're gonna bring. You don't have to pack heavy either. All those species that I mentioned there. If you're gonna do a do-it-yourself, which is the angle I'm trying to share here, is a do-it-yourself, budget friendly. You don't have to buy a lot of special gear. Like I said, I wasn't kidding when I said the fishing is as easy as it gets. Simple pack of jigs. Some spoons. Of course, different species are going to require some different tactics and stuff, but plastics and whatnot all work here. You don't need we aren't really planer board fishing kind of places and stuff like that. Down rigging, you don't have to do that. It's a lot of just dropping bait down. So if you do a little research beforehand, like I said, there's a whole bunch of forums out there and Facebook pages and different websites. Chandler will share all those resources. A lot of your questions can get answered on what to use and how to target them, but it's not complicated at all. You don't have to make a big investment in gear. Like I said, if you're coming in the wintertime, the biggest investment is to have warm clothes. Definitely have warm boots and all the trimmings there, gloves and everything, and good base layers and stuff like that. You're coming in the summertime. Some people don't know. Some people think that the summer weather ends at the border. No, in the summertime we get warmer as well. So like you bring your sunscreen and swimming clothes and all that kind of stuff. You've got beach. It gets to plus 30 out here, plus 35 as well. So just for the weather, dress appropriately. Bring that stuff. And like I said, even if you don't bring anything, everything's modern up here. There's stores all over the place. You could do shopping. Any old town has things that you can buy. So you can buy everything up here as well. You can don't have to come up with anything. No food, no bait, no whatever. Speaking of bait, AIS, that's another aspect as well. Is very important. Is the aquatic invasive species. So every jurisdiction now has different rules on especially sensitive when you're crossing borders. So if you're bringing a boat up, anything really equipment wise and stuff like that, you can't have any standing water if you're going to cross the border. So live wells should be empty. No buckets with any kind of water from a lake. Like say you were bringing bait, don't bring bait over. Stuff like that. Don't bring anything like really organic. They're really tight on that kind of stuff. And especially when you're up here already and you're fishing different lakes and you're going lake to lake, like I said, you got to empty live wells, empty your bilges, empty your bait buckets and stuff like that if you're moving from water to water. Because there are the ones that are present in the province are zebra mussels are present here, spiny water fleas, rusty crayfish, stuff like that. We're trying to stop the spread of those. So.
Did you see that question? Is that why you nailed? Did you see the question right below?
No, I didn't see a question here. Oh yeah, Facebook user. Can you talk about bait restrictions, both coming across the border and what we should look for when we get to Canada? I thought that was an ad. I've learned to ignore ads now. So, but when you get to Canada, what should we expect? Yeah, I anything artificial is fine, good to go. Any kind of bait, you start getting sketchy. For example, if you were to bring your own night crawlers and worms, they can't be in any soil. At all. They'd have to be in mulch and stuff like that. I would just tell people like don't even bother really. Don't have to bring leeches. Everything is up here. Leeches, everything is bigger up here. So you'll have bigger leeches, bigger night crawlers up here anyway. Live minnows, like I said, you don't have to bring any bait. Any kind of artificial stuff, you're good to go. Any kind of gear is good to go. Like I said, if you're bringing boats across the border, biggest thing is having dry live wells, dry hulls like bilges. Give your boat. If you can get it inspected, that way you have to get it like washed with the hot water and stuff like that. If you can get it inspected where you are and have it, like they do a lot of the zip ties on your mount there on the front of your boat there. If you can have that done, that helps out. Get a stamp or a letter. Otherwise, you go through their inspection. We have inspection stations and we'll get them cleaned at the border there as well. They have a station. Probably not open if you were crossing at 2 a.m, but if you're crossing at regular times, you can get your boat or equipment decontaminated. I've heard there is a passport card, not as much as regular passport. Does that work? I can't say I'm familiar exactly with it. My wife works in immigration though, so I have her here. A passport card.
I know that some provinces are getting rid of it, so I wouldn't trust that. I would stay with passport. They're
trying to just get it across the border, just having an actual passport. It was more to do with work kind of stuff. Some people have work Nexus cards and stuff like that. So it would work. I mean, it can. I mean, you'd have to check a call ahead to your border that you're expecting to cross at. Goes a long way. You can make a call at any time to the Emerson border, the Highway 59 one. What's that? We call it the Thief River Falls one, but it's not. It's the same highway. I Falls, International Falls, International Peace Gardens. You can make a call. Those are the main border crossings in this part of the country. If you call ahead, you can also do website searches. But if you call ahead, usually they can answer a lot of the questions. It's nothing worse than 4 of you in a truck coming up and one person can't come across kind of thing. That person's got a long walk home. They've been left at the border before. I would leave them. We're not canceling a trip because someone can't make it across. Don't bring alcohol across, right? Yeah, I don't know if you can bring alcohol across. I bring back American beer all the time. I don't know why. Our beer is better, but I always bring back a Miller High Life. But anyway, you could do that. I don't think you don't bring any kind of narcotics and stuff like that. Of course, across. You can buy that stuff here too. It's actually legal too up this way. The cannabis. Anyway, we got cannabis stores. That's something different to check out if you want to come here. But yeah, stuff like that. Like you don't want to come to the border and get stopped for whatever reason. So a lot of due diligence, a lot of homework beforehand, before you make that drive from your hometown, goes a long way to make sure that you can come across. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking or intimidating, especially the first time getting to there. But once you go through the process, it's sort of pretty easy. People come up here all the time. Like I said, people are coming up here on day trips even and stuff. So yeah, don't be intimidated by it, man. Come on up. Come on into Canada. I tell you, it's you won't regret coming up here. I get very passionate talking. I want everyone to come over here and come fish and get over here. And I want to take you fishing too. So yeah, come on up.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, our some things to note is like our temperature up here. So if you're looking at forecasts and stuff like that, we're on the metric system. So even temperature-wise, we are in Celsius. So sometimes it has a handy to have an app or something that sort of translate. You need a translator. We speak English up here, but you got to translate distances and temperature and lengths and stuff because everything's in kilometers. Some people cross the border and then they see, the speed limits and stuff. It's in kilometers. Temperature, like I said, it said it's plus 30 out here, and people 30 degrees. That's not very warm or whatever. That's 30 degrees Celsius, by the way. I was mentioning that Celsius. Stuff like that. So it's different things. You are in a different country for sure, but in many ways it's just all the same. Like people have come up here many times. It's just like being in a different place. It's just more fish. That's all.
For sure. So what I did do is I put the two websites down below, the Hunt Fish Manitoba and then the Visit NorthwestOntario.com.
Yeah, lots of wealth of information there. You'll see a lot of my old articles on the Manitoba one there. And if you reach out to them or any one of these websites, if whatever you're asking is not to be found, they'll answer you pretty good. Like I said, a lot of good resources. And like I said, there's endless forums. Ice Fishing Manitoba, for example. There's Ice Fishing Minnesota. We have our equivalent here. You can ask questions out there. There's no dumb questions. Then again, you guys know these forums and stuff. A lot of people will whatever. So private message me if you want. Email me anytime or whatever. I'm pretty good about answering questions. Like I said, there's no dumb questions at all. You just ask away and I'll help out if I can, kind of thing, or I'll point you in the right direction.
Well, we appreciate that a ton. And I know that I hit you up. It was like maybe a year ago. We were talking about doing another roundabout trip and doing some planning, and you've always been so wonderful and helpful. And I love following you and your family. It's so much fun. So if anybody wants to follow you on Facebook, or you on Instagram too?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I started the whole Instagram thing. So all my adventures are on there too. Oh yeah.
So I'll put some of that contact information in the comments when we get done tonight. And I'm sorry, your wife, does she have an Instagram? Because I think we need to start following her.
You should actually, yeah. Divine. Her name's Divine Labaupa. I think that's what it is on Instagram as well and stuff. But she's right into the fishing now. Like, I mean, she's a role model for a lot of the ladies out here. You speak of women anglers, ladies in fishing up here is really taking off. And there's no difference now. Like people like asking like advice. It doesn't matter if you're a lady, if you're someone like me, for example, or anyone young and old. Everyone gets advice from everyone now. If you know how to fish, you know how to fish, period, kind of thing. And if you know something, period. And then people ask everyone. So it's fantastic. Up here, it's great. All the ladies here they're outstanding. They go on their trips all on their own. Like don't mean to, you don't need like I said, like Divine and our good friend Val. They've done a couple tournaments completely on their own, boat or ice. Like completely just out there. And like I fish tournaments with my daughters. And like I said, they're going to do a tournament on their own coming up soon. I'm sure of it. It's 13 and 14-year-olds because anything we can do, the ladies can do better most of the time. So hats off to you guys. Fantastic. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you ladies coming up here when the borders open.
Let's plan that. I would love to. Let's get together. Let's brainstorm. I'll bring a bus of ladies up. We joked about last time how like what will the border do when we call ourselves whammies, right? And what will the border do when like 52-foot buses come with whammies with all this fishing gear and they won't even believe that we're actually coming to fish the whole time. But, I think we'll take Manitoba by storm, and I think we're super pumped about that. So one of the ladies just said, I hope we can cross the border soon. What's your take on it? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, not this summer, unfortunately. Yeah. We're hoping in time for next winter season. There's a chance, like everyone's getting vaccinated and stuff like that. So on our side of the border, its outlook is looking like maybe, hopefully, but everything's month to month. So but when it can happen, like I said, you bring that busload, bring them over here, and I'll take care of the rest. If you guys come on up here, whether say in the boats, I can round up a dozen boats to go catfishing like nothing. So awesome. You do it. You don't have to bring nothing with you. Oh my God, that'd be so much fun.
I think we plan it. I'm serious. I think it's great. And these ladies are hungry, and it's so neat to have someone like yourself that we can touch base with, and and whatever we can do coming to the community too. I mean, I think that's, where we could really, wrap this into something really cool. And so I just thank you. And thank you for being such a representative of your province and where you live and the industry. You're such a great example of putting yourself out there and helping everybody and creating creating the experience, right? Because we can't catch fish if we're not there.
Exactly. No, I appreciate that. And like I said, I want everyone to catch fish and I want everyone to visit. So come on up anytime.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you from all of us at Women Anglers of Minnesota. This is Eric. You guys, I will get you in touch with his information. And again, Hunt Fish Manitoba, Canada, and Visit North Ontario are great resources for us to start planning some of these trips. And I'm excited now. I'm super jacked. Like, we are totally going to do a catfishing trip.
Yes.
You ladies, let me know, and we'll start wrapping this. We'll do something, that's for sure.
Looking forward to it. We're going to plan that for sure. It's going to happen. So it just matters if you guys sign up here.
Absolutely. So again, let's do this in the future. Thank you. Have a great spring and summer, and I look forward to watching those kids get older and catch more fish.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. Sounds good.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right, that was fantastic. I'm super jacked up. My hands are sweaty. Anyway, I want you to know that Stephanie can't get on right now. So I'm going to end the broadcast. Then she's going to go live on our members only page. And then we can go for some prizes. So I've got a neck gaiter, of course. And of course, I've got our patriotic t-shirt. So thank you guys for joining us. I can't wait for you all to replay this. And if you have questions, reach out to me. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.